Hi, everyone. Today I have the honor of introducing to you our guest speaker, David Anoha. He speaks to us today in his role as Community Ambassador from the Compass. He's the Communications Chair on the Compass Board of Directors, bringing to that work his expertise on project management and data analysis from his other job, his paid work. David, at 30, is younger than his resume might suggest. I know you will join me in sending him welcoming vibes as a recent newcomer to Mississauga and on his recent engagement. But we can only send vibes since David was willing to step in for us when others couldn't on quite short notice. So he's only going to be here by video today, but he tells me when the opportunity arises. He looks forward to meeting all of us and will be happy to offer us a QA at another time. I was very impressed that David actually had a pretty clear idea of what Unitarians are, which is rare. I wanted to share with you his words when I asked him what had led him to his work with the Compass. And he said that he went to church one day and was just strongly moved to help out. And he said he committed to the Compass because once he'd seen the lives that were touched there, he fell in love and couldn't turn away. Since that was my exact experience too, and since I formally shared the role that he fills with our own congregation, I know it's no accident. He's the one chosen to speak to us today about what the Compass really is and why it should matter to us all so much. And now, meet David.
Good morning. Thank you, Debbie, for the introduction. It is a great pleasure to be here with all of you today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about a need and a mission in our community that I am passionate about. It's our local food bank and outreach center in South Mississauga, and that is the Compass. I know you guys are no strangers to the Compass. We've had some of your members, including Debbie, volunteer their time and talents to serve our community. And essentially what I'm going to do here today is just to tell you a little bit more about who we are and what we do, give you guys a little bit more information about us. And to help me do this, I'm going to share a screen here and show you guys some slides to walk through everything. And I hope I do this right. And forgive me if I do not, and I have to do it again. Okay, I think this is good. So at the Compass, we strive to provide help for today and hope for tomorrow. That is our mission. It permeates everything we do. Most of the individuals we serve come to us needing help today. So we provide that, but we focus on giving them hope for tomorrow by working with them to solve more long-term underlying issues, which in turn will give them a chance at a better tomorrow. We do this primarily through community. We know that social support is one of the most fundamental needs human beings have, and something that is very, usual that we see with many of our clients is that they get where they are through isolation and a lack of social support. So we try to replace that. So like I said, we are a community. We're more than a food bank. I'm going to talk a little bit more about who we are. I think it's a good place to start off. We were founded in 2002 by 6 churches that figured out they were all trying to serve the same people. They were trying to solve the same problems, but they couldn't do too much on their own. They figured out that if they came together, they could have more of an impact. Their mission was simple. It was to provide a safe and welcoming place with immediate access to food, access to practical help, and obviously access to spiritual support so that people could essentially grow and get their lives into a better place. Well, since then we have grown, but we have kept that same spirit. We are more than a food bank. We offer many kinds of programs and services and primarily foster a caring community for all. Next slide there. Like I said, we have grown. We have a lot more member churches, supporting churches, and other organizations that support us. Let me talk a little bit more about how we are run. Our member churches provide support in terms of funding and volunteers. At our onset, this was primarily where everything came from, with smaller donations coming from individuals. Today, we also have a lot of individual donors and community organizations that support us as well. Not just with funding, but also with volunteering and free services for our clients. We also have local businesses that help us out as well. A good example of this, of what our community can do, is during the last year, even the restaurants in Port Credit area that were hurt by the restrictions for the pandemic managed to come together and donate about 10,000 hot meals for our clients throughout the year. Even with the lockdown in January, they already managed to go 2,600 hot meals. And these go a long way because it shows that even when people are hurting, they're helping, which is a testament to the community that we really live in. It's a beautiful thing. We do have staff. We have 4 staff, 3 part-time and 1 full-time staff member. Together, they ensure that volunteers have access to support, and they ensure that nothing gets missed. Over the last year, with all the restrictions, they were pivotal in helping us change the way we operated, just so that we would still be able to help our clients and help to serve our clients. Speaking of last year, we're going to share some results about what we did. In 2020, we distributed roughly around 612,000 pounds of food, which is a lot of food. It was 26% increase from 2019, and that in itself is probably the highest increase we've ever had, at least definitely the highest increase in the last 5 years. Within that, we served 2,573 individuals, which comprised of 471 households. We also had a 21% increase in number of households from 2019, which again is another really high number that we are not used to. This was about 17,000 shopping trips, which is a lot of shopping. Now, if you do not know too much about the Compass, you are probably wondering about why I'm talking about shopping trips. For those of you who don't know, traditionally we try to give our clients autonomy by ensuring they get to choose their own groceries. They do not just come pick up a brown paper bag with items that we think is good for them. Instead, we set up a food market and we let them come and shop for what they want or what they need, rather. And the way this works is, every item has pricing on it. They're given a voucher based on the size of their family, and they're allowed to shop for themselves. This essentially is good for people with dietary restrictions, as they're able to utilize their funds to their liking. Particularly good for people who have like religious restrictions like kosher or halal, items. They are able to purchase what they will actually eat versus just being given food that they wouldn't eat or they don't feel comfortable eating. But most importantly, this helps people practice keeping their autonomy. Sometimes when people get into these sorts of situations, that gets taken away from them, and people use food banks for years, and because of that, they never get to really decide on what food they're going to eat, which we take this stuff for granted, but it's a big thing. It does have an impact. We do try to tailor our food to be more nourishing. We go out of our way to ensure that we find healthier options for people. We also offer cooking classes and recipes for individuals who need them. Sidebar, the Compass is working on a cookbook at the moment. Simple meals that can be cooked by anyone with ingredients that are easily available at the Compass. This is primarily for the clients, but we are going to make the cookbook available to everyone. And obviously, all the funds from that go to just supporting more of our programs and doing the things that we do. Last but not least on this slide, we do get support from other organizations like the Good Food Box. They're fantastic. And obviously, community gardens is something that we are we just love. We are excited to be looking into this a little bit further, especially with the pandemic ending. We would really love to get this started, give the clients an opportunity to use their hands as and plant something. This would definitely be along the lines of the things that we're looking to do this year or next year. And I'll get more into that later. But like I had said, we are more than just food. We offer hope for tomorrow. We have ESL classes and literacy classes to help people adapt to changes in their environment. Computer classes as well. This is particularly good for immigrants. We have a lot of immigrants and refugees or people who just show up. And while they're just landing in the country, they might not need the ESL classes, but they might just be coming for food, and through that they'll get access to computers to be able to work on their resumes and do that kind of stuff as well. We also have simple things like haircuts at the Compass occasionally, which I'm sure everyone is aware of how impactful this is now, since we haven't had haircuts in a while. So yeah, and the tax clinic is something else that we do, which we were still able to hold even with the pandemic, which was fantastic. A lot of our programs we had to put on pause, just because of the restrictions, but this is one that we were able to do, which is great because it helps people get the services they need and get on programs like Ontario Works and stuff like that. The men's and the women's groups provide special service. They provide a healthy environment for clients to interact and make friends. Usually can't tell the difference between a volunteer and a client at the Compass, and the lines definitely blur. We have clients who take on responsibility and become volunteers as well. So it's sort of like a crossbreed of a client and a volunteer. And this is really, really good for the client themselves, because they get responsibility, they take on projects, they are useful, or at least they're always useful, but they feel useful, which is a gift in itself. We've also had volunteers who end up being clients. Maybe you retire and your situation isn't the same anymore. This is definitely the case for our Tuesdays and Thursday meals, special dinners like Christmas, our summer barbecues. You can't tell the difference between who's a client and a volunteer. Everyone comes by, has good meals, shares some fellowship and some time together, which is a good way to do things. We also have various ways of nourishing the spirit. For the clients who are Christian, there are programs like Refresh that offer Bible studies and fellowship time to clients. They're also welcomed at any of our member churches if they so choose to come, which is always great. Slide, yeah, awesome. And we also offer practical help through mostly our intake team. They are there to support individuals. They whenever people come in, they're the ones who greet them. They find out more about them. They see if there's any needs that we can address. They also periodically talk to the clients and check in with them just to see what has changed, if there's anything that's bubbling up that needs to be addressed. And we do this either by directing them to, some or encouraging them to use some of the services we have inside the campus. And if it's something we don't have inside the campus, we try and find the services outside. So our intake workers will help find, shelter space if necessary. We have supportive housing representatives, people looking to help with employment support. If there's volunteers that have donated things like, a nurse saying, hey, I'm going to show up and do a clinic, we'll make sure that the people who need that service know that there's access to that, so that they can take advantage of that. We also have a lot of representatives come out from other organizations to the campus to speak to our clients, usually during the men's or women's groups, but also just to come and help people who are at the campus while they hang around. This is primarily prior to COVID, but this helps them get a lot of their stuff done. And just to wrap up quickly, this is a image of our calendar pre-COVID, which looks a whole lot less right now. Talked a little bit about our staff and our volunteers already. And here are some of the things that our clients and our volunteers say about us. And this happens a lot. You'll see a lot of these quotes online. Non-solicited, of course. We've had experiences of clients writing notes on pieces of paper and just slipping them to people, just a specific volunteer that has just helped them out a lot, and those sorts of things are very impactful. And finally, final slide for today, items we are working on. We are working on improving our communications and our advocacy. This is something that we are constantly doing. We've had to stop a lot of our programs because of COVID. We are looking to develop new programs to help people in this new world. And we are constantly looking for ideas. So if anybody has any ideas, please come forward. And skipping down to the bottom, we are moving to a new location, still in Port Credit, still in the same catchment area, but just to a better facility that can fit our needs better. Same size, just better laid out for us to be able to do what we do. We are always open to volunteers, which is really what I'm doing here today. If you guys ever want to volunteer, there are many ways to help. We can show you, you can reach out to either info@thecompass.ca or to myself at david@thecompass.ca, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about ways that you can help. There's tons of volunteer positions at the campus, and more importantly, there's skilled positions that we are always looking to fill. And if you have a special skill yourself or a business, you can always reach out to us if you have any spare services to offer. If you're a hairdresser and you want to do some haircuts, we love that. If you are an accountant and you want to do taxes, we love that too. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you really quickly. I know I'm blowing my time here, but thank you so much for letting me come here and speak to you guys about the campus and who we are. It's always a pleasure to, talk to more people. I wish I was here live to speak to you guys in more detail. But if you have any questions about what it is like volunteering at the campus, Debbie is a great resource. She's fantastic and does a lot of good work with us as well. But I look forward to speaking with you guys in the future, and I look forward to hearing from you through email. Have a great and awesome day.